Just talk about it with you guys because because I'm trying to stop drinking. And for the audience, yes, we are just basically starting mid conversation. So welcome in. But I'm Eric, Big Zeke, Rick with the crew, White Noise. Anyway, so back to the conversation before we were rudely interrupted by starting the podcast. We were talking about marijuana, and so I've been trying to cut out drinking and whatnot lately, and I think I've told you guys this, but so I've been kind of relying on the weed as like a crutch and whatnot. So I've been like going to stores and seeing, because Minnesota just legalized a bunch of it. I don't know if it's fully legalized. Maybe you guys know more about it. I think the gummies were for a while, and then they slipped it into a giant law. They slipped into a giant law where they're like, oh, by the way, it's legal now. So that was a thing, I think, last August or something. But
Yeah,
I
I
go
think
to
we
these.
talked about that actually. I think we brought that up when that happened, how it snuck past a bunch of Republican state Congress people, and they were just like, "Oh no, no, never mind, whoops." But you can't. You're not taking this one back from the people. Tell you what.
Which which is a bigger issue, by the way, which, like, these guys are lawyers, educated people. They shouldn't be reading these things front to back over and over and over again, right? Like, there shouldn't be anything, oh, we missed that. But anyway,
They didn't read their own bill that they passed.
public
So
servants and
that's why your
whatnot.
taxes are going up. Anyway, go
Giddy
ahead.
up. All right. So I've been like kind of just stopping in, seeing what the local market is in Minnesota about all these vape shops, and because I'm a big cart guy, I'm not a big smoke the plant kind of fella, but I've been stopping. But Minnesota's been pulling these carts, the carts that you can get, like the disposable ones and whatnot that have THC in it. They've been pulling them off the shelves recently because they're not being regulated by the state of Minnesota yet. I don't know if they ever will be, but they were in California, Colorado, and Montana and things like that. So that's just like, I think, that next step. But why it's coming up is because I am currently puffing on one to kind of get the juices flowing. And I don't know if it's working yet, but because I kind of lost my train of thought. But no, I got this thing, and no. So I stopped at a gas station on the way to the cabin last weekend. I just walked in. I was like, you know what, man? I just kind of wanted to get high. Like, I'd like just blunt, because sometimes you go to those places and they're like, well, we can't say that we sell marijuana. You have to kind of like ask like the direct, like, I need to use THC infused. You got to say the exact term. You can't just say weed. Because they're like, I don't sell weed. They can't say that. It's kind of like a fucking
You can't say wink out loud.
right, right. My arms hurt. I need, pass the your, anyway.
When I turn the lights off, I have trouble seeing. Do you have anything in this fucking gas station that might help me with this? And I've tried the boner pills, so don't sell me those again.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. But the guy gave me this giggly drink. It's called Giggly, and it's like a THC infused soda pop, basically. And I had that, and that was pretty fun. But the thing is, what I struggle with the THC infused stuff is that you can't really self audit it, right? You can't like tell yourself when you've had enough, because you can't feel it until like 45 minutes later when you've consumed the whole thing. Then you're kind of like, all right, I'm on this ride.
Guess we're doing this.
You can't like pull the e-brake, right? Like, you can't pull the me brake. Like, you can't just get off.
That's when you just lay down outside and hold on to the grass and hope you don't go flying off of the fucking earth. Tell you what, dude, that shit, like that type of thing is exactly why I don't touch fucking weed anymore. Like I had a real fucking nasty experience. Not like none of mine were very good. Like I just didn't like what it did to me to begin with, but the last straw was using edibles like years ago. And I overdid it because I wasn't feeling shit, so I just kept going to fucking Pound Town. And then, yeah, I mean, it's just the same thing has happened to me drinking. All of a sudden, all those shots just catch up with you, and then, like you said, you're just fucking along for the ride, and you just have to hope that you wake up in a safe place. And but yeah, man, that's the one thing I think that am legitimately like seeing a lot of people struggle with, especially when it's like, I think part of it is like, so when you go and buy these different things, it'll say like, oh, like this can of drink has 5 milligrams in it, or like these gummies are 10 milligrams a piece, or whatever it is. But everyone who has been smoking pot or even, doing edibles or whatever for years and years and years and years, like you just smoke until you're stoned, you know,
Mhm.
like what the fuck? My thing is like, what the fuck does 5 milligrams of THC do? And I don't think anyone has that scale yet.
Yeah.
Like nobody has a concept of what that is. Like I understand what 5 beers does to me, but like would 5 milligrams of THC make me like stare at the stars and just have a good time, or would it make me just entirely fucking like start thinking the earth is fucking flat? Like
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, that's a good point to bring up too, because, with alcohol and stuff, it kind of, I mean, it's similar, but it's kind of not at the same time, because it's almost like, and I don't know, this isn't really based on science or anything, and it's kind of just anecdotal, but like it's been my experience where like, a skinnier person, when they consume alcohol, they get drunk off less, right? I mean, that's like a fact. They get drunk off less. I mean, that's where the term lightweight comes from, right? So it's right, doesn't it? Well, I mean, it comes from boxing and
oh,
whatnot, but like because
I mean
they're
also like Ronnie
smaller,
Coleman.
right? I don't know what.
Yeah,
I don't,
buddy.
yeah,
Lightweight, baby.
shit.
I got that reference.
I didn't.
Good. Thank you, Rick. Someone fucking had to. I was gonna look like an asshole. The great Ronnie Coleman. Look him up.
I'm
Jesus
not. I'm
Christ.
not gonna lie. Mine went to Gary Coleman. You know that little fella.
This
So I
is a
was thinking
different
that's
guy.
kind of rude because he was
Right.
white.
He's just a little guy.
He invented the cooler, right? All right. So
Yeah. He made something he could fit in. Chill down.
oh god. Anyway, so
Derailed.
but this is, by the way, this is not at all what we intended to talk about right away, for those of you listening, but it's a good segue, I think. So when somebody that's smaller and skinnier and whatnot has less body mass on them, they can, when they consume alcohol, it gets them drunk faster. But like, let's say a stoner, like a stoner person that's scrawny, let's say less mass on them, has smoked a ton of weed, I don't think that's necessarily the case, because their tolerance to marijuana is still, I mean, I guess it might work the same way with alcohol. I haven't even thought about that, but like their tolerance with weed is still a tremendous amount. So like you said, 5 milligrams, what 5 beers is going to do to you, but like 5 milligrams to like a stoner that's still at that body weight and whatnot isn't going to do shit. So they got to take more and more and more. Again, it's any kind of drug that it's anything that you build a tolerance to, I guess.
Isn't it also the case with weed that you can only you only get up to a certain point, and any more than that is just kind of wasted on you? That makes, like, you can't overdose on it like you can
Like there's
alcohol,
diminishing returns, kind of,
right?
right?
It just kind of keeps you in like, once you get to that threshold, it just kind of keeps you there for longer if you take more of it, instead of progressively getting worse and worse and worse.
I think
I don't know. I'm just
it's been, I mean, you don't want to get too, I mean, I think you're right 100%. Like you can't, like you said, you can't overdose on it, but like you can get to a point where you're like not, I mean, you can throw up, like you get like the spins and stuff. I've definitely been there before. I think maybe, I don't know what Zach's experience was, but I've taken too many edibles before and I've just been like, this is not a fun feeling. Like you just like are just like, you basically feel like that point when you're getting too drunk, it just kind of, it gets to be too much of an experience.
Yeah.
So you kind of want to, but it's easier to fine tune with weed. Like you said, like you get stoned, you're like, okay, I think I'm just good. I'm going to ride this wave. I'm going to maybe take a hit every 20 minutes now and just kind of keep riding the wave, I guess. Right. So, but yeah, you're right. There's no like, and then you can come down a lot faster too than alcohol. Like when you puke on alcohol, usually you're done for the night, unless you're me. And then you're like, all right, party just restarted.
You can rally, boys.
Water who? All right. But no, I just want to say one more thing about that gas station attendant, not a gas station, but the weed store attendant fella. So he goes, so I go, do you have any cards? Because they're like my favorite thing in the world to just have, right? Can you just rip on them all day long? And he goes, no, because Minnesota's not regulating them. But we do have this mushroom infused one. So if, I don't know how you feel about mushrooms. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to be around family members. And like, I've never, ever had mushrooms before. He goes, sometimes you get like streaks when you walk, but it's like not a big deal. And I go, yeah, I'm definitely not doing that. Like, I'm not even going to fuck with that. I've already said too much shit in front of most of these people when I was drunk. So I don't want to start fucking, other stuff.
I would have loved to see that. I tell you what, like, yeah, last weekend was pretty killer, and it turned out good anyways. But I think it would have been very funny to see how you would have reacted to like
Eric
just
walks
seeing
up with
everything.
fucking. He has fucking hubcaps for eyes, fucking pupils. Trade you my shirt for a grilled cheese.
That would have been terrible.
Well, it would have been funny for me. That's what I'm worried about.
Have you guys ever babysat anybody on any kind of drug before?
Yeah.
I don't think I have. Somehow I've gotten away from. I mean, I've babysat drunk people like plenty of times, but yeah, I don't think I've ever had to babysit anyone on drugs, fortunately.
Yeah, I have before. Rick, what was your experience with that?
You were there.
Huh?
You were there. We had to call you in for your expertise because they didn't believe me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, that's barely babysitting. That was just somebody who got a little too much milligram. Yeah, that was.
What's all the skin doing on my arm?
I forgot about that. Yeah, I don't know if do you want to tell a story? Otherwise,
No,
that's
all right.
All right. I'll tell my story real quick, and then we'll get into our hard hitting topics. I used to know somebody that was into the taking acid and whatnot, right? So her and her friend took acid, and I did not. And I just watched them experience it, and they had like a checklist. They made it like a fucking. I'm a big non-tour guy. Like, I fucking hate tours with a passion, with like historical places and things like that. I don't know if I've told you guys this before, but like, I fucking hate tours because I just hate it. I hate stuff that's structured. Anyway, so probably my ADHD brain. I don't know. Like, I don't want to be told.
You think that would help that?
You would think.
Because then you don't need to organize it. It's just there for you, and you just fucking experience. Anyway, go ahead.
I hate a guy that learned about it 15 minutes before I did and is now telling me about it. That's what I hate about it. Anyway, so they took acid and whatnot, but they had this checklist, and they're like, don't let us go outside. Don't let us do this, no matter what. And no matter what means a lot, right? Like, no matter what means no matter what.
That always backfires, man.
Yep.
Because they're going to ask to do those things.
What.
Don't say no matter what.
Yeah, don't say that to me. Because I don't know at what level you expect me to go to with this. Am I supposed to fucking hog tie you? Am I supposed to fucking throw you in a
They said no matter what. No matter what. That means no matter what.
And then you go to jail.
Unless I ask 3 times.
Here's this long German word. This is the safe word. This is the word that lets you do those things. Just give them something Finnish. They'll never be able to say it.
But they had like, we got to like light candles, turn off all the lights, and just look at people outside the window. We got to shower. We got to lay in bed but not go to bed. So like, and remember, like, this is like, I didn't do it. Like, I had to put them in a bed and leave the room. Like, this wasn't like
do you shower with your bros? Is that what I'm hearing?
These are women. For one thing. Not that it matters.
Well, now I'm interested.
Not that
it matters now. I'm interested. If they're going to say take a shower, I'm taking a shower. I tell you fucking. I gotta babysit. Sorry.
You said no matter what.
Yeah, you said no matter what.
As long as I'm not hard. All right, no, but
so
you had to put them in the shower. Just hose them off. But no, they sat in the shower. They had a candle.
Pressure washer. You just pressure wash them off.
Until my skin
shower.
Long story longer, I guess. They no matter what at me, and they fucking went outside and they went out and whatever. But they were just obnoxious, and I'll never drug sit again. And I think that's enough of the drug talk. We're 15 minutes in. Drugs are fun, and if they're done responsibly. We're not an advocate for it, but if you want to do it safely.
I don't give a fuck. Just don't kill anyone.
To our listener, don't say no matter what. Don't do it. Don't put people that you care about in that position.
Yeah, it's a precarious
position. They won't appreciate it.
Yeah.
You say no matter what to me, motherfucker, it's over. You're not getting that thing.
Right.
That fucking means no matter what, I'll knock you the fuck out. You're not getting it. Keep
Yeah.
these cookies away from me no matter what.
Every movie ever where they say that and it backfires horribly, that is going to happen to you. So just don't do it.
Speaking of no matter what, so people that say Trump no matter what or Biden no matter what, the debate was very, very interesting to watch, fellas. Did you get any of it? Did you watch the highlights, or should I say the lowlights? And anything that stuck out to you, no matter what?
I think the next time they debate it should be at a Top Golf so we can settle their golf handicap score issues that they had. I did enjoy the pot shot that Biden took at Trump being listed at like 6'3", 215, when that boy is definitely like 315 if I've ever seen it.
You can tell by
But
how much
like,
he leans.
oh my fucking Christ, that boy's got some lumbar lordosis if I ever seen it. He can make that motherfucker clap, I bet. Fuck. I just it's not politics anymore. Like they're not talking about here's my plan, here's what I'll do, and being like reasonable and respectful. Like, dude, I mean, when I started paying attention to politics, of course, I guess I was a child when it was like, the first or not the first Bush, but baby Bush's first term and shit. So I didn't really know a whole lot, didn't pay a ton of attention. So really it came during like the Obama years. And I tell you what, like those got fiery. Those debates and the emotions on both sides of the aisle got fiery between like Obama and McCain and Obama Romney, whatever. You can still find clips of them all just like being respectful to each other. Like, yes, they disagree, and yes, they'd get a little fucking hot under the collar. But at the end of the day, they're not sitting there going like, well, you know what? There's no way your golf handicap is 6. Like, because who the fuck cares? Like, because all you see is people bitching about inflation is bad. I can't pay for my health care. Rent is too damn high. No, this generation can't buy a fucking house. All this type of stuff. I don't give a shit if Biden has ever played golf. I don't give a shit if Trump has ever played golf. I don't give a shit if they like golf. I don't like golf. If you play golf, that's a boring game. Stop it. So, it just that was one big thing that stuck out to me is that it's just how much of a circus this has become when there's so much on the fucking line. As far as like this year's elections, from president on down, there's a ton of elections, and there's a ton of opportunities to, change the direction of things. And here we are arguing about fucking golf scores. Give me a fucking break.
Dude, I will say, I swear to God, they were one step away from whipping their dicks out in a measuring tape, a fucking tape measure, and just settling it there. Like, yeah, we'll settle this right here, right now, and fucking zip. It's like, what are we doing? Like, this isn't an idea you guys are discussing or fucking stances on politics. This is just dick measuring, and no, like Zach said, nobody fucking cares. You're both old and fucking way past your prime if you ever had one, and nobody gives a flying fuck about your golf game.
Right. Yeah. And I think, so obviously, I think we all lean, whether it's far left or left and middle left, I'd say, doesn't matter. But the biggest thing that I saw, first of all, I think everyone, and I don't know what media, whatever side of the media that I saw beforehand, they were saying like, nobody wants to see this debate. Like, we all know what it's going to be. It's going to be exactly what it was. It was a fucking like, hey, like you guys said, a dick measuring contest. It was like, well, you're wrong. No, you're more wrong. Well, we're both wrong, but you're more wrong still. And then Biden and then Trump saying, I talked to Putin. He's basically saying that bullshit that he was, whatever.
Trust me.
Yeah. But the only thing that I think I told you guys this a couple weeks ago at the cabin, my biggest concern is that if you're a Biden supporter or like a non-Trump supporter for that matter, the thing that you take away from that debate would be Trump's eloquency, right? The fact that he could get words out, he was confident in what he was saying, he was able to fucking say things beginning to end and have an idea, regardless if it was a lie, regardless if it was a trailing off fucking thought, it was still a cohesive sentence most of the time. I'm not going to say he was perfect, but like he was the definition of somebody that looked prepared when he said he didn't prepare. And it was like this guy that it was all confidence. And it's like, well, if your mind wasn't made up before and you were on the fence, like, you look to a somewhat of somebody who resembles a leader. And I have to say that Trump looked more like a leader in that debate than Biden. If you didn't look after the fact, and which a lot of people aren't going to do.
Right.
So if you don't look at the fact that he lied the entire time, if you don't look at the fact that Biden was truthful most of the time,
if you just shut your brain off and just watch, then yeah, he looked great.
A lot of people do that.
I know, and
like
that's why this whole fucking setup is so fucked up. It's the futile nature of a debate. It doesn't matter how good your point is or how good you are at solving problems or having ideas. It's how good are you at selling them. The fundamental difference between Trump and Biden to this day, even if Biden is losing his fucking mind, is that he still surrounds himself with experts. He still surrounds himself with people that know best in their fields. Trump thinks he knows the best in every field, and he's fucking wrong all the fucking time. That is the difference. That's what people should focus on. I don't care. Look, if Biden fucking loses his mind a year into the presidency and he gets 25th Amendmented out of there, Kamala's going to take over. Okay. And I guarantee in a debate, she could run fucking circles around Trump, but because the optics of having her run as president right now doesn't look good because she's not favorable or whatever as president, as a presidential nominee. That's why they're not doing that. And also they want to give Biden a second run, a 2-term president and not be a lame duck or whatever. Again, you have to weigh out what is essentially this guy who says, I'm going to be a dictator and I'm going to fucking imprison my fucking political adversaries. And I'm going to do this to people. I'm going to abuse the shit out of this office. And you got a guy who can't talk so good, but at least he surrounds himself with experts. And at least he's trying to do right by people most of the time. Like he's not
Right.
doing super nefarious bullshit that's enriching himself. I don't know. I'm done.
It's a
Right.
thing though, like I think Eric has a good point. Like on the face of it, Trump was able to speak well, and that's a huge part of it. He said everything with his chest, and I think part of his not being prepared is if you pay attention to the actual words coming out of his mouth, which of course you should if you're watching the debate anyway. Is he's good at speaking off the cuff because he can just say stuff, and if it
Yeah, he
comes
will
out,
bullshit you all day long.
oh
Yep.
yeah, well exactly, he'll just talk, he'll say shit off the cuff. If it comes out as a lie, he'll just fucking roll with it, and he'll just keep rolling. And he doesn't fucking care. Like he doesn't care what he has to say to get ahead. He'll fucking say it, and he's done this his whole life, man. This is his game. This is Biden trying to beat Trump literally at his fucking game right there. Like that may as well have been Trump's fucking home court game 7 of the fucking playoffs. Like he's going to win. And it's not even going to be a buzzer beater. Ain't even going to be fucking close. And yeah, I mean, regardless, I mean, yeah, the way the questions were asked and things like that, I think were fine. Um, I think the way they ran the debate, trying to shut the mics off and stuff and keep it as reasonable as possible was fine. I think the trouble is Trump isn't willing to admit, not the trouble, maybe, but I guess the issue or something is that Trump never admitted wrong, and he just kind of lets stuff slide off. So when they say, "Hey, what about your 34 felonies?" He just goes like, "Ah, it's rigged." So anyway, this Biden guy, and he's real good at kind of changing the direction that way, in a way where it's like, okay, you can only push him so many times before you just got to give up because you're kind of on a time crunch here because the debate's only a certain length. We can't fucking sit here all night and press you about your 34 felonies, about the fact that there's like you know people claiming like fucking children claiming you or people claiming you raped them as a fucking child. I mean, it's all this horrible heinous shit. There's the other like 90 some odd whatever cases against him. We don't have time to sit here all night and fuck with you about this. um but that should be the people's responsibility anyway. The debates I think are a good thing for when they're done properly in the way they kind of used to be done and the way I'm used to them being um growing up. Yeah, it's a good place for you to just be like, well, here's my plan. Here's why I think his plan is bad. Pick who you want, pick your favorite guy. And I think that's perfectly fine. But if we're just going to debate back and forth kind of like this one was, think it's a useful practice anymore. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's just you're not going to convince an independent. Um, and honestly, any independent that I don't know what they are going to do, but at this point, I think supporting Trump is morally wrong. Supporting Biden is not going to feel good. Supporting RFK, I guess you can. I don't think that's going to feel very good either to do. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think there's one choice on that stage that was absolutely deeply morally wrong. And I'm just hoping that that is the wave that rides, you know, that's, I guess that's my hope. But I don't think this debate is a useful practice anymore, kind of as it was, if this is how it will exist.
I mean, there's legitimate concerns though with the old Biden, and the thing is too. What I like about what happened post debate, especially with Biden's camp, would be the fact that I mean, in a way, you kind of got to be. I mean, you can't be fully transparent with his cognitive skills because on some level, that's also going out to everyone in the world, our enemies too. And as far as that goes, I mean, that's a whole nother subject. But when he says, I am old, like I'm an old guy, and I'm not going to be as quick witted, and Trump is whatever. He's a fucking. I also was president for 4 years. I'm coming out of that. That's a stressful job. He had the last 4 years off, type thing. He didn't say that, but like I'm just kind of like there's a level of like my mind's in a million other places right now, and now I got to fucking yell at this guy who shouldn't even be a presidential nominee. But here we are, running the same old fucking circle that was 4 years ago. Anyway, my point is like they came out and they said, like exactly what they answered the questions from the public, like hey, we're concerned about your cognitive abilities. And he's like, I get it, but I'm still the better option because of this, that, and the other thing. Like, so I guess we still had that from Biden from the debate. So I guess that was what I found resourceful from, to your point, Zach, where you said that this is kind of a bad practice, and I get it, but like you kind of have to dig for the good stuff, right? So
Hmm.
um, that's kind of the tough part because only people that really want to, like I said, so you're going to hear, Orange Man talk well, old man don't. So, and then I'm going to go with Orange Man. But like, intellectuals and people that actually give a shit, they're going to dig up the bones and they're going to find what's useful and take it from there. So I don't know. Now, with that being said, a lot of folks were calling for a new nominee.
Yeah.
So a new Democratic nominee. So what are you guys' thoughts on that? I know what's his nuts Newsom, is that his name?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gavin
Gavin
Newsom.
Newsom.
Yeah.
I know he was kind of a name that was out there, and but I don't think that's not unless Biden says I'm out, right? Like that can't be a thing,
I think
right?
technically it still
Because
can until the DNC has their shit, what's the word I'm looking for here? The DNC has their little big DNC party where they fucking name their nominee. Um,
I think that's
it's
in like
gotcha.
9 days, isn't it?
it's soon. I mean, but technically, yes, the DNC could name a new person. Will they? Absolutely the fuck not. Should they? Yeah, they probably should have. Um, someone probably should have challenged Biden for that nomination because technically they can. Of course, still do that. We had Dean Phillips from Minnesota, I think, was talking about running against Joe Biden, and honestly, like, I think he would have been an okay choice. I don't know if how much of a run he would have made at it, but I think he would have been an all right choice. Um, so yeah, I don't think it's a thing that would happen or will happen, of course. Seeing as Biden keeps tweeting out, listen, like I'm the president and sending emails, for fundraising to me and my wife saying about, listen, I'm still the president. And I'm like, look, man, you don't got to fucking remind us. Like, we know, and we're not super thrilled about it. Um, so yeah, they won't, but I think they should realistically, I guess is kind of the long and short of how I feel about it. Like he's not. I don't want someone that's that old to do it.
I
Um,
didn't want someone that's that old 4 years ago, but
same.
he's there. I voted for him knowing that then, and knowing that I'll probably have to vote for him again for a second term because of this very situation we find ourselves in. Trump's going to try and fucking nab power back, and when he does, he has a fucking game plan in place now. It's not, there's no adults in the room if he gets the reins back. That's the fucking problem. There's no, I don't know what I'm doing. Now he has Project 2025 guidelines in place where if he gets that power again, who the fuck knows what, like how bad it's going to get, especially for people like us that don't agree with him or call him out on his fucking bullshit. It's all well and dandy for you, for the people that support him, until all of a sudden he does something they don't like, and then they're in prison too, or whatever the fuck, you know. That's the scary part of this. That is the, you know, they say, oh, we'll never slip into a fucking dictatorship in America. It's that kind of thinking that allows it to happen. We could be like very well witnessing the end of actual democracy in America, and that's fucking terrifying. I don't mean to be like a
So
fucking pearl clutching, you know, sound the alarms, whatever the hell, but I feel that's a legitimate fucking concern.
I mean, that's kind of where my head's at too. And this is, when I texted you guys, I said we have a lot of subject material to talk about in the last couple of weeks, especially with the Supreme Court ruling, with the immunity, whatnot, with the presidential stuff. And this kind of ties into, Rick, like what you're saying, the what we could be seeing the end of our democracy. But if Trump were to get elected, obviously there's an age cliff there, right? Like he could have the same fall off that Biden's having. So with that being said, is there kind of like a, worst case scenario, he gets elected and he doesn't have enough lifetime to get all the shit he needs to get done in order to like actually ruin our democracy beyond repair. You know what I mean? Like he could do a number, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying like he could be dead in 20 years too. And do you think, that's a long time, but I'm saying like, it's not going to be beyond recoverable, right? If there's still like enough of a fight to kind of not let things go as easily, I guess.
If he gets into office again and has it for 4 years and doesn't croak while he's in office, because he's old as fuck too, let's all acknowledge that, he could do enough damage to where we couldn't see it remotely repaired within our lifetimes.
Okay.
I think the trouble, or like part of what he could do too, or part of what's going on, or could go on, I don't even know if it would directly be Trump. Trump is gonna,
Right.
like he's not out to ruin things. He's only there to grab power as far as it will help him basically stay out of prison and stay up in his fucking bullshit gaudy ass tower in New York. I think what I kind of start to be concerned about even more is the Project 2025 stuff, because let's pretend for a minute that Trump doesn't actually know a lot about it or support it as he tweeted out or whatever. Let's even pretend that's true for this thought experiment, which is complete bullshit. Like, as if you wouldn't know about that, you fucking moron. So let's even pretend he doesn't know about that. What happens is Trump gets into office. Of course, he puts people around him that support him, a lot of which are probably going to be these Heritage Foundation, Project 2025 fucking nutcases. Those nutcases are going to hire more and more nutcases. And so what you have is, it doesn't matter if Trump leaves office in 4 years doing basically nothing himself, right? But what you have now is a grassroots, like democracy destroying, fucking hands made tail wanting bunch of motherfuckers in there making the rules and working for the government, right? So, I kind of the think like look at it as like, well, even if Trump himself does nothing, he's going to usher in something happening, which I kind of think is a lot of what happened last time with like January 6th and things like that.
Yeah.
I don't know that Trump directly said, "Hey, everyone, please come here and like kick down the fucking door." What he did is he allowed it, and he ushered in a group of people and empowered a group of people to do a thing like that, because he's just going to jerk his little fucking mushroom to the idea that there's all these people that fucking love him so much, right?
Right.
So of course he's going to hire people like that to the cabinet, and they're going to kill the Department of Education. He's going to hire people like that from his cabinet all the way down to the fucking DMV, because he fucking just wants that. He wants the loyalists, and those loyalists are the people that want to do all the horrific things that you see in Project 2025,
Yep.
which leads to the horrendous kind of, yeah, it sounds like maybe we're being extreme here, but the idea that America falls into something that I wouldn't necessarily call democracy. It at the very least removes a ton of rights from a ton of fucking people, and takes people on the left, the way they're talked about in that Project 2025 document is pretty fucked up. Um, I mean, it's referring to them as like animals and things like this. So it's like,
Less
talking
than.
about destroying the left. Yeah. Yeah. And then you had the one asshole, I think it was from the Heritage Foundation, talking about how we're going to go all the way back a ton of episodes on this one to my tinfoil hat, talking about how we're in the beginning of a civil war, which will remain bloodless as long as the left allows it to. So again, if Trump gets in, Trump isn't going to say, hey, let's go do a civil war with the left. He's going to hire a ton of nut jobs that want to. And that's what's going to start to get fucked up, I mean, and I don't, if that happens, I have little faith that it will remain bloodless. But I don't think the left is going to shoot first. I really don't. Even though going back in history, the left is generally shot first. And the left has generally done a pretty good fucking job of it, right? There's a reason we have gay rights. There's a reason we have a 40-hour work week. There's a reason like fucking OSHA exists. All these different things. And it's because, textile factories, all this, it's because a bunch of lefties started throwing bricks through fucking windows and pulling the trigger on their boss. So let's,
Stop treating me like shit.
exactly, let's be real. But in this instance, I don't think the left is going to shoot first. I just don't see that happening.
Well, and that's to go back to your point too about sort of Project 2025 establishing. Well, that's exactly what this is, right? It's not just the threat of Trump and what the damage he could do at the end of his pathetic, lying ass, having ass life. It's the groundwork that's being set to further an agenda. And not to sound too Alex Jonesy, but like that is their agenda. You
Making
can
the
look it up.
frogs
I'm
gay.
on their fucking website right now, and they
You're
spell
on
it
a
all
list.
out for you. They keep telling you we're going to do the thing, and then everyone's like, "They did the thing." Stop being surprised. Like they're laying the groundwork, and it's going to be trouble for a long time. Like if we can ever claw back power and get rights back and all that shit, it will be an uphill fight, if not up the fucking side of a cliff.
So, not to always bring it back to like Nazis, but like,
but it's hard not to. Oh, I did not see that coming.
Right.
Anyway,
so we see like that. I mean, it, like you said, Rick, they lay it out for you, and the mention of like the left as being subhuman. We've seen that before. With political rivals, and not only just with Nazis, we've seen it with the Soviet Union, with fucking people like that. We've seen it with, like you said, with any kind of fascist dictatorship, whatever. Like with any kind of political rival, any kind of people that you want to get, a big group of people. It's the mob mentality, right? Go after them because they are lesser than, they are subhuman.
It makes it easier to hate them.
Right. So. And with that being said, I mean, we're seeing a lot of it, and why I brought up Nazis is because that happened with the Nazi regime, and then a couple months ago we talked about the the mention of a Reich in the fucking that oh no, we made a whoopsie,
oopsie doopsie.
There's too many, like, I mean, they're coincidences, except Project 2025, where it's right there. So like at what point in time do you say, or the bloodshed remark by that one guy? I mean, that's a threat. That should be punishable by some sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like basically that's a threat of like, hey, we will kill you. Like that's, what I mean? Like we will harm you. So that's something to be said there. Nothing happened. So it's almost like it's, egg on our face, and by our face, I mean the left's face, but like allowing it to continue. Like at some point in time, hey, Biden, they made the mistake of letting you be immune to official acts 6 months too early. You know what I mean? 5 months too early. So at some point in time, dude, use their power against them. Take some of this shit out. Do damage that they're going to do in 5 fucking months when you inevitably get taken out of office because you can't talk.
So the thing with that is, I thought that way too, but I heard, I don't remember where, but I heard someone say, I don't want to protect against a dictatorship by starting one first. I don't want a dictator in charge, even if he's on my side. I don't want that. And so call that taking the high ground, whatever. That's not the solution to this problem. It's not, we need to do it first because right now we have the power and we're probably not going to have it. We need to stop that from happening. Biden shouldn't have that power either.
So yeah, and I don't mean, obviously, I don't mean like killing Trump or anything. But no, so what I mean by that is like do something where it's like, hey man, like you could do something now where it could be on the edge of something, like maybe dismantle that way of doing something or whatever, and then like have a governor on it. So it's like in 6 months from now, when like I don't know, I don't have the fucking answer for me. I didn't think about I didn't think about this too much, but I'm just trying to say like you could probably do something right now that could maybe stifle this a little bit, this way of thinking, without having it just an open door, like a 38-7 victory, Vikings in the NFC Championship game. Like give it some fucking offense a little bit, punch back. You know what I mean? Do something. Don't just fucking take it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
I get
think
that.
I think I definitely have to like. Here's the thing: is throughout the last I don't know how many years now because I hate it. Like the Democratic Party sits here and like they're like elect us. We're gonna do all this cool shit, and then if there's a 1 seat fucking advantage to the Republicans, they go, oh well, guess we can't do anything. And like they've been playing with those feathers so long that they're about to get their fucking ass tickled when Trump gets fucking elected. So what I think needs to happen is kind of like Eric said. I think Biden should just have a SEAL team go and knock on Trump's front door and just remind him that this is an official act. And whatever happens from here on out just happens. Don't do anything. Just remind him this was an official act. This was officially ordered. And this is what your Supreme Court has decided is okay. So, I mean, realistically, I mean, yes, we know that presidents they've all been fucking war criminals for decades, and we know that. But basically, what they're saying is Watergate was fine.
Right.
Like he should have never gone to fuck. Like that should have never been a fucking issue,
Yeah.
and things like that. But God forbid someone get a blowjob under the desk, a consensual one, no less. That was a big fucking. That motherfucker was impeached for getting some fucking head. You know what? God bless him. Jesus Christ, I want to get head in the Oval Office. But no, they got to clutch their curls and clutch their pearls. I can't even fucking talk. I'm so irritated by this shit. Again, it's just this thing where they're setting the on ramp. Like these decisions, they're setting the on ramp to terrible shit. And already, I mean, if you look at already, they set us back 50 years by repealing Roe v. Wade. That's like 50 years of women's rights that they just hit the fucking rewind on.
Yep.
So it kind of to what Rick said before about how like yeah, it might take a lot like past our lifetimes to fix the potential damage. We already went back 50 years. None of us is
Yeah.
fucking 50, you know.
Yeah.
Tell you what, and yeah, I mean, sure, it's a thing where it could be a simple kind of vote to just turn it around, and yeah, it could be flipped in like a day. The problem being is now there clearly has to be a big long campaign again where everyone's got to get together and fight and fight and fight for that right back. Because I don't think any number of news stories about women dying when they need abortions is going to fucking change the right's mind because they don't fucking care. Even when it happens to
Until
them,
it's
they
them.
don't fucking care. Even then, they don't.
They'll still.
Oh, yeah, like you could be like, oh, my sister, she could have lived from one, but oh, she could have, should have kept her legs closed. Like, they just,
Yeah.
or they'll just pay and they'll get one under the cover of night and it'll be all fucking well and good, you know. Which I would like to point out at this juncture that Trump has paid for abortions before, including one from a 12-year-old he fucking raped, post fucking trigger warning.
Jesus.
So he's not any better, right? Again, it is morally apprehensible to support him and this entire platform. Like it's not even a matter of like, well, I think economically, but like you can't even feed people that. You're
No.
electing
Because
someone
economically it
who
doesn't
is
even make sense.
well,
Fuck you
no,
if you
because a
think
bunch of
economics
fucking
doesn't make sense.
well, a bunch of people just came like what was it like 12 like Nobel Prize winning economics like people just came out and said like yeah, if we do what he says, it's gonna like just destroy everything. Like it's gonna make everything so much worse. Like yeah, put like a 30% tariff on everything we import. Are you fucking restarted? Come the fuck on. That's not just gonna put prices of because we don't import anything, right, fellas?
Right.
Jesus, mother of fuck. No, it's
God.
yeah, it just It is not good.
There's that, and then the student debt relief and the save whatever the hell Biden did for student loans to even just make payments manageable for people. All that shit would go away too. And so you got a huge section there. He already got rid of fucking Roe v. Wade, like Zach said. That's a huge bunch of rights that you're missing. Like you're just losing shit. What are you gaining by this fucking dipshit in office?
Own the libs.
Yeah, yeah.
I get to own the
fucking
libs.
yeah.
So and so one of my biggest things that I've been, and I'm just might be naive and ignorant or whatever, but like when they're voting on this thing, or like when it's becoming a thing of debate inside whatever the fuck it's called, the House Supreme Court, I don't know, I'm not educated enough, I didn't pay attention enough in school, wherever it's being talked about before it's being voted on, and like turn around like Roe v. Wade. I know that was like talked about a lot because at the time I was with a lady that like really gave a shit about it and was like loud about it, which is good, whatever. But like that's the only reason why I knew about it. And Egg, I'm a dude, so it doesn't really affect me directly. So it's just the way it works. Sometimes whatever. But anyway, my point is like, where is that happening? Those conversations, or even the immunity thing, where can we get this information from? Where it's like, hey, this is being talked about right now, and here's why you should give a shit, or here's why it's good for us if you're on the right, or something like that. Like people should know, right? And then like maybe, hey, now's a good time to go stand outside your fucking building and yell at them or something. You know what I mean?
There's actually an app that you can use called
there's an app for
Congress,
that.
and you can follow upcoming bills and votes and hearings and committees and people and all the happy shit on there. And so yeah, that's one way you could follow. Actually,
Do you think that is
You
somewhat
should have.
intentional?
I do want to. Yeah, it's probably very intentional. They do this shit at
100%,
2.
yeah.
There's a reason they do it at 2 in the fucking morning.
Yeah.
But I will also say, coffee's cheap. Caffeine's not that bad for you. You could stay up late. I will also say that it is public knowledge where all 9 of these justices live. And I will also say that eggs are cheap. So
Unrelated.
I hope, even before that though, I just hope that these people, maybe on a positive note, they get visited by the 3 fucking ghosts of Christmas. You know what I mean? Like Trumpet. Like, hey man, he's probably only got Christmas future left. I mean, let's be honest. But I mean, probably I meant past.
Yeah.
Anyway, doesn't matter. But he's old, motherfucker, old. But racist. Anyway, so he I don't know where I was going with that, but you just want these guys to fucking wake up and smell the coffee. Like, let's stop fucking fighting. Let's figure out solutions to everything and stop being cunts.
They make more money not doing that though. They make more money being cunts and being divisive and fucking gridlocking the system and making the thing is like, look, every time they hold up the fucking decisions and the Supreme Court passes shit that basically Congress needs to turn around, get off their asses and pass a goddamn law to enshrine it into law. Until that happens, people fucking suffer. Like from the start of it until it fucking gets solved, that whole fucking time span, people are suffering and nobody fucking gives a shit. And that's the most frustrating part about this all is because they especially don't. Like, whatever, I got mine. Just like all these, whatever. It's obnoxious because, again, they don't experience it, so they're not inclined to fix it. They don't think it's an emergency. And as long as they can get a little more.
you know what I'm also sick of, though? This is kind of a little bit different from that complaint, but we're all venting here. I'm sick of the fact, but no, I'm actually sick of how on the left we always run candidates that are more moderate, and we always try to like come up with things that are more moderate and cater to the other side. When the thing is like, dude, there's always this thing like, oh well, they'll never go for like a universal health care, I guess, like is one good example where it's like, well, no, you can't run on that platform. Nobody's going to go for that. It's like, well, a lot of people would go for that. And like, I think you got to fucking swing for the fence here, boys, because like what we're doing ain't fucking working. Again, like I know change is slow and incremental, and it's not a fucking bullet train. It's like a fucking half lame ox pulling a fucking cart full of iron ore. Like it's just
with one
trudging and screaming for death. Like, but it's also because we're just sitting there. And I mean, yeah, for 4 years, you might sit there and be helpless because there's like one Republican holdout. Or what was that one dickhead who like he's a Democrat, like he is a Democrat, but he should definitely not be. He should probably be listed as like an independent. He would sit there like during Trump's years when the left has an advantage. I can't remember this dude's name. It's going to bother me. But he would sit there and he would hold out. And they're always like, well, he won't vote for us. There's nothing we can do. I don't know. Fucking hammer one of his fucking fingers every fucking 15 minutes until he makes a decision. Like, I'm sick of it, dude. Like, God damn it. I don't condone violence most of the time, but Jesus fucking Christ. Like, once in a while, you got to swat a kid's ass when they're crying too much. I swear to fuck. And
Also,
like, that's the fucking problem that they keep doing.
why are you holding out, dude? This is your fucking job.
Because
hold a fucking opinion,
dude. He's not. He's only a Democrat. Really in the name. Like he's a big investor in a coal mine. I know exactly what he's talking about. I just can't remember his fucking name.
But I'm so tired of that shit. Or they shut down.
Manchin.
You can't.
Yeah, that's him. Yep. Yeah, Manchin.
And who's the girl from Arkansas, or not Arkansas, Arizona, who is also a fucking holdout?
Oh yeah. It starts with an S.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Cinema.
Cinema. I kept thinking of Ayrton Senna, who was not a fucking political person. He was a Formula One driver in the 80s.
But I mean, you can look up their donors, and you can figure out exactly why they did what they did. Is because
they shouldn't have donors.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they shouldn't.
They shouldn't.
Not big money donors. Like not the big money. Like, you should be getting donations from goddamn Marlboro cigarettes and fucking giant coal mines and shit.
Right.
Like, Jesus fuck. And I mean, also, like, it's fucking these motherfuckers should be in prison, half of them. Like, you look at, like, during COVID, the number of times that they would, like, right before they pass a law that was going to impact a certain industry, all these cocksuckers are selling all their fucking shares of, like, all these companies are like, oh, we're kind of about to fuck Boeing. All my Boeing shares gone. We're about to fuck with, like, the oil drilling industry. All my fucking oil shares gone. Like, hours before sometimes.
Boy,
on both sides, they're fucking. Yeah. Whoa. You really played the stock market luck. Yeah. You should do sports betting. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. It's just obvious.
So let me get this straight. And I just kind of tied this together. I kind of knew, but first of all, this is all just fucking corrupt. So first main point is the fact that so big donors, conflict of interest, right? So if you have a conflict of interest at work, if you're fucking dating a coworker and you move up to a supervisor position, that's a conflict of interest, right? So you can't discipline that person. If I'm a fucking politician and I'm getting money from somebody, I can't really, without being biased, fucking make a judgment unbiasedly, that might or may not fucking impact that person that I'm receiving money from. Because it's always going to be intrinsic. Because my money source is going to fucking run out if I make the wrong decision. Right. So that should just be not a fucking non-starter.
Thank you,
in my opinion.
Correct.
Secondly,
you're smarter than most people already.
Secondly, so you have this fucking idea of, let's look at 2008 just for kind of a rough example. But you have these people that, like you said, sell these shares when they know something's going to get fucked with, or like something's going to get cut off, or it's going to impact the stock market in a way where they're going to lose money. So they sell it before it actually happens, insider trading, right? We all know how that works, right? So that happens, then that stock drops, that company loses money. But what happens when that happens a lot is you have a fucking stock market crash for a lot of places, right? So when all these people sell these shares, all the politicians, and then the stock market crashes, and then they sign something that bails out these fucking places.
They're making themselves money.
Then they make them. So this money that they just sold, they still have. They made money from taxpayers, bailed them out with taxpayer money, blamed it on the poor people in 2008, made themselves money, and then this money still stayed in their pocket. And you know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
And they blame poor people. And then they blame bootstraps not being pulled up tight
and
enough.
Then at the end of it all, they congratulate themselves by giving themselves a raise.
And they have the audacity to fucking get mad at people for asking for a government handout when it comes to welfare, when it comes to fucking student
Healthcare,
loans being
yep.
forgiven, because they fucking advance their fucking personal growth, their career growth, to not only stimulate the economy, but to be something of use within the economy to stimulate American growth. All they did was fucking benefit
All
themselves.
they did was hoard more money.
So this is just corruption
Yeah, man.
at its fucking like most sophisticated peak. That is capitalism.
Yeah,
It is capitalism.
that's why it's called
late
end stage capitalism. Yeah,
Yeah.
late stage. Yeah.
Yep.
And I mean,
All right. Well, I'm glad I'm meeting you guys here, but
well, fucking corporations will do the same thing.
Yep.
You know, they'll do all these massive layoffs, and with the money they save, they just buy back their own stock, make themselves.
I don't know
rich.
about you, but I've never been trickled on.
I would love to be
No.
trickled on, but by like a
Not
really
on purpose.
like a cute Asian or something, maybe. You know, or maybe like a really tall fucking German. I think I'd be into that.
Oh shit.
Just a little trickle, because like I want them to spit on me a little bit too, because that's what it feels like living
Zach,
in
you're really
America.
blurring these lines.
That's a
You guys hard. No, it's just it's
that's a
completely
stimulus
fucked.
package.
Yeah, it stimulates my package. Tell you what, fuck. I just it's so fucked. It's so fucked because we all have to play the game. All of this corruption is right out in the fucking open, but we all have to play the fucking game, and none of us really have enough power individually to change it.
Because they make the rules and they get to make the
they make-
rules to benefit themselves.
Yep, because they make the rules, and then you fucking. I mean, and here's the thing: is like, I don't know if there is a way, but like, there's got to be a better way for the masses to like start swinging. Because here's the thing: is like, it's you got pricks. We didn't even get to fucking the Supreme Court and all their bullshit. But you got people like Clarence Thomas, very clearly taking bribes from people, and
Right.
very clearly taking gifts from people. And nothing fucking happens. You have people. I mean, fuck, she's on our side. Even Nancy Pelosi made a fuck ton of money doing those stock sales and shit like that, right? She's made a ton of money doing that. You got people all over the fucking place doing this, and all that happens is we all just kind of shrug our shoulders and go like, okay, well, guess not.
That's expected.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's just par for the course. And it's like, well, no, these people need to get out, and there's got to be like, we have no direct power to get rid of, Clarence Thomas out of the Supreme Court. And unfortunately, he's there for life. So until he kicks it, he's just there and there's nothing we could do. But there's got to be some way that we aren't thinking of that, like, we, the masses, can fucking start swinging. Like ideally without turning full, like, French Revolution and pulling out a fucking guillotine. But, like, I don't know, guys. It's just not working this way. Like, just voting with your heart is not gonna fucking cut it anymore, I think. Especially if this is our options,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I just want to like just I'm just thinking about this because my mind's going kind of crazy right now, and I don't know if that's the ganj or anything. Like that was. Can I just say I don't know how you guys felt, but that was the most probably well put together rant I've ever had, where it had a beginning, middle, and end. Usually I lose my train of thought, so again, thanks for coming with on that.
You
journey.
did good.
But I just want to say too, like, doesn't this kind of like make you think that there can't be, well, first of all, it doesn't really, like, I don't know. So you got like the lower class, middle class, and like upper whatever class, but then there's like the 1% folks, right? It's all these people that are making all the money, all the people that sold the stock and whatnot. Like they're in that, like, is there ever too much money? Like, can you ever have enough money? And bear with me here. So you have like this, like, and then they have all the tax breaks. They're impacting the laws. Like, at what point in time do you just say, okay, like we can give back, or
We
like,
won.
or like I've had enough? Right. Like when do you generational wealth for years to come?
When you wrap up the Monopoly game and start over.
That's what I'm saying. Like, isn't it boring at this point? Like, and then you have all these people that have been rich for years and years and years. All these politicians that have been, family lines. The Kennedys have been around forever. The fucking Bidens, the Bushes, everybody. Like, these are quite literally dynasties of rich people running our country, which is something that we wanted to get away from in the fucking 1700s. It's like, it's just a different version of the same shit pie that we've been eating for years. And the only thing that we have, to your point, Zach, is hope. Is the only thing that we have to fucking we're voting with a good heart. We think we're doing the right thing when somehow we're still getting fucked a little bit either which way. And nothing ever works out 100% for any of us. And by us, I mean in that non 1%, nothing ever works out 100%. You're still going to fucking either get cancer, you're going to get fucked over somehow. It just isn't going to work. And you got to figure out how much you're willing to put up with before you fucking either kill yourself or just like find a goddamn ranch somewhere and just fuck it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna go fucking retire somewhere and farm ducks. Like I'm over it, man. Like here's the thing is I love trying. I love working hard and making an effort and trying to make something of myself. But fuck, dude. Like if I can't make this shit happen, I mean, if they're cutting off all our resources to try and make it happen, if they're making things exponentially harder by making it harder to own property, which is a good way, for a lot of people to gain wealth. That's buying a house was used to be the doorway into the middle class. You buy a house, you gain some equity in it, you sell it off, you walk out with some money, you buy some land, blah blah blah, do the same shit. And they're just cutting off all those resources and they're just kind of creating like this giant slave class for themselves. And I don't think I mean, I think like at least the three of us sitting here, I feel like all of us probably, even if we can't name like a specific number, we probably all have a point in our lives that we would hit if we were astronomically wealthy, where we would sit there and go like, yeah, it's probably enough. I mean, do I need a
Yeah.
fourth, fifth, and sixth Ferrari? Really? I mean, yeah, like I'm sure it's great to have astronomical amounts of money, but yeah, at what point do you give back? At what point do you try to put that money to some good use for the greater good? And I think really what it comes down to is these people to become that wealthy just don't have that conscience. They were not raised with those good morals and values,
No.
to think of the bigger picture. They think of my bank account and I guess that's it. I don't really know.
You can't have morals and be considerate or have empathy and be wealthy like that. You can't. Those are fundamentally opposed, those two ideas. Caring about other people and having a fuckload of money, more than you can ever spend in multiple lifetimes, those don't mesh. You can't be an ethical billionaire. And like that's another fucked up thing about all of this is, to what Eric was saying earlier about how they just, they play the system and rig everything up so they can sell all their shit, keep their money, and then make even more money by firing up the printing presses again. These rich assholes don't even spend their money. They take out loans against it and keep their money invested because the returns on that investment is cheaper than the loan that they took out against it. So they're just stacking and living off of a fucking loan.
Yeah, they can play games that we can't.
Right. We don't
Is the
have
other
that kind of
part of it.
money to do that.
Yeah.
But what are they like when do you have all of it? Like when do you have all of this stuff?
I traded
Do
all
they
of it for a
have-
little
When do you
more.
go to space and laugh like a fucking that fucking guy Bezos? Like at what point in time do you fuck enough people, snort enough coke, fucking do it all, and you're like, okay, I'm done.
When you're a
Never.
good person. The era I
When
just
you look
watched a
like
clip.
Rockefeller and you look
Dude.
like my fucking taint,
No, dude, you look
that's when you're like, okay,
it's when you turn into a good person. The Arizona iced tea guy. Okay, the big cans that are 99 cents at every fucking gas station. That dude's
but he
straight up
looks like shit.
Okay, but he's straight
He's
upset.
gonna die. He just did an interview. He's going to die soon, and then his son's gonna take over and put him to $2.99, and then that whole thing's fucked.
Well, yeah, but
Because
fuck.
he was a good person.
Yeah, he's straight up said, we can pay our bills. Our company has no debt. We can pay all of our people. Why the fuck would we raise the price? They could easily sell that shit for $3 a can or
Yeah.
more. They could easily do that.
Yeah.
That shit slaps, by the way. Arizona iced tea fucks.
It does.
Please
Dude, it
sponsor the
fucks.
podcast.
That shit fucks. Arizona iced tea, sponsor the fuck podcast. Your shit rocks. I will drink it constantly. But like, that's the difference though. Is like you look at his company, he goes, yeah, like we're chilling, we're good. I'm just gonna keep selling my product as long as you keep the product good, pay the bills, keep the lights on, pay my people, et cetera, blah
Right.
blah. We're chilling. But you look at so many other companies, you look at like even the big grocery stores and shit, they're starting to drop prices. Well, why do you think that is? It's because they fucking hiked them up.
Right.
Because they saw an opening where like everyone's talking about this inflation being really bad, and I guess I don't see it, but like I don't know, why can't strawberries be fucking $10? You know,
Yeah.
like why isn't a gallon of milk $7.85 or whatever the fuck? I don't even know what it is now,
Right.
astronomically priced. You know, so it's
And
just
if you asked all those fuckers too, all the other corporations and whatever the hell that did hike their prices, they would tell you Arizona did capitalism wrong. They didn't
oh yeah,
capitalize. And it's
yeah.
like, yeah, but they're still fine. They're still making money. They're just going right along with things.
But
But that's wrong.
yeah,
They could have gotten more.
and I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. What is more? What is more? Like you said, Zach, the guy said, we're paying the bills, everybody's happy. This is going to be a long time thing. Like when does it end? Wouldn't that be exhausting when you're Donald Trump and you're running for president? I want to be fucking done at 50. These people, like, is it
Fuck yeah.
power? Like, that's a
Yes,
mental illness,
it is.
dude.
It's 100% power. They don't want to
Or
give it
is
up
it
once
evil?
they obtain it.
And it is a
It's
mental
evil,
illness,
and that's
dude.
what makes me think. That's what makes me think. So the middle class has to hope and pray that there's a God and that there's good in the world, and they seek it out and whatnot. And then they get off, and the charities and shit. And then we got all these rich fucks that are just evil. You got the Joel Osteens. You got that one dude that looks like a demon. I did not. That guy.
Copeland.
We've all seen.
Yeah,
the video.
Kenneth Copeland. That guy,
Yeah.
He's spooky. Fucking
Yeah,
tell you
dude.
what.
He's spooky.
How the fuck
He's
you walk into
spooky.
his church and be like, I'm in the right place?
Yeah, this guy knows about God. Yeah, because first of all, he met him because he's a
He was
trillion
kicked
years
out.
old. Yeah, and second of all, he was booted down to hell. He was like, you look me in the eye and tell me that motherfucker is not Satan. Jesus Christ.
He is the he is like every fucking false antichrist, whatever the hell. That is who I fucking picture.
Yes.
Oh God, yeah.
He is. He really is.
Like
If
he
you-
can't
if you
cover up the evil anymore. It's just spewing out of his fucking face. Jesus
You go to
Christ.
like
All right.
a fucking like a painter from like the 1200s in Italy, and you say, I want you to paint a picture of God, and I want you to paint a picture of like the Antichrist. And they would just paint Kenneth Copeland as the Antichrist. And they'd paint God as like, I don't know, like just
Obi-Wan.
yeah. Basically just like a white guy with a beard.
Mullet Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
No. But
They would
yeah,
paint
so
God
I agree
as
100%.
Dale Earnhardt. Even back then, they would just paint Dale Earnhardt in sunglasses in his Good Wrench fucking racing uniform.
Oh Jesus, literally. No, but that makes you think like these guys are just fucking evil, power hungry, just these evil fucking people, right? But it's like, so what's the point then? Like what? So what happened? And like you guys said, what possesses these fucking people, and why there's so many of them? You know what I mean? I don't know.
Tiny monkey brain to hoard resources. Until we can overcome that will just be what happens.
My monkey brain just tells me to jerk off. I wish my monkey brain would help me earn money. Jesus Christ. I just want to sit and fucking beat it. That's all I have.
Do you think that the smartest monkeys? Do you think that the smartest monkeys, obviously, so the smartest monkeys probably made it with the other smart monkeys, right?
I mean, one
And
would
then they
assume.
they shagged and they kept their. Oh, this is probably why fucking incest happens.
Well,
What?
Like, or happened is or not, and not like
you got to keep
Louisiana.
you got to
I'm
keep
talking
the
like
bloodline
royal.
pure, dude.
Right.
Because so they're trying to like harness like that fucking like that successful shit and like that. So do you think that we're just like results of common monkeys fucking because they're too stupid to like realize it? All of us, like the masses, and then like the elites are all from the same kind of smart group of monkeys.
Oh man, they're not smart.
No, I don't think all of them are smart. And I tell you what, I
like
could
not
fucking
smart in like the intelligent way. I mean like smart and like, hey, this is how we like run shit. Let's all just keep our, you know what I mean?
well, the power is incestual. They're not literally banging each other, but the power is incestual. Because like even like the one
Right.
company I worked for, like half of the executives were like the dude's fucking family. So like the power is incestual because he just keeps that all in the family because then the family's rich forever and you can pass it down and you live on and you never die. You know.
Right.
But
Well,
like
that's kind of what I mean. Yeah.
the ones who the monkeys that were banging the other smart monkeys as incest, just they all live in Alabama and Louisiana and shit now, and like they can't read and they talk real slow and stuff.
3 fingers is more pure than 5 fingers.
Well, fuck. Apparently,
It's efficient.
Yeah, division. It was more efficient. God made me more efficiently with less resources. It's like when I finish putting my motor back together and I find a couple lifters on the ground. Like, fuck, I just lighten her
Spare
up,
parts.
man. Engineers didn't fucking need to put that in there. I'm smarter than they are. Fuck.
I don't know, Rick. Did you want to talk about the articles of peaches?
Yeah, I read a great article on peaches the other day. Also, peaches is probably good for your prostates. I don't know if that's true. I know tomatoes are.
You are all about the fucking walnut in your ass, aren't you?
Yeah, we're ending on a high note, fellas. This one's real doom and gloom. If you made it this far, you made it to the good part. We'll do it even when America falls, goddammit.
Rain or Brian, all right.